Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon Ice-type Pokemon Cetoddle and its rare evolution Cetitan, the two collectively known as the Land Whale Pokémon. Bulky as they are easy to get along with, the members of the Cetoddle family are large beasts that can make anyone that crosses them as adults wish that they hadn't trekked into their snow-laden territory.
Cetoddle have orb-like main bodies, with stout flat-bottomed feet with pink pads, as well as long upper limbs with a single small thumb-like digit on the side, and pink palms on the underside, as well as a pair of pink-tinged fleshy fins on their backside. Their eyes are rather large and a dark brown color, with pink rims on the upper side of their eyes, and further possess a thick stubby horn on their forehead and a large mouth with a single white tooth in the middle of the lower mandible. The evolved form Cetitan have a very similar body form, but possess two sharp claws on each of their feet, as well as a much larger tail with fins and a grey-tinted form to their front. Their jawline is marked by a trio of thick, stout horns, possessing an irregular, curvy jawline, and sport an additional pair of stubby horns on the back of their head.
The members of the Cetoddle family are whales, and closely related to the whalmer family, but unlike their oceanic relatives, these creatures have adapted to a life on land, hence the designation as the Land Whale Pokémon.
It is not currently known what caused them to adapt to a life on land in the first place, but the number of potential predators in the surrounding shores of the Paldea region could make for a valid argument on that note. Regardless, these creatures are adapted to survive in frigid environments like Glaciato Mountain, and in turn are endemic to that particular location on the Paldea region, though they have been able to maintain stable population numbers in said location for a great deal of time. While this adaptation to land seems to be working well for them, it is also noted that their diets have not changed much, as they use their teeth-like shovels in order to scoop up snow and then feed on whatever sort of organisms and minerals might be dwelling in them, even if that means small animals get caught up in their meals. They are also known for their size, as though they might be small by whale standards, they are still able to make use of their thick blubber to help insulate them against the cold and use it as a weapon even, with the family having access to the Ice Spinner attack naturally, and are the only known ice types in the Paldea region to have this gift. As such, they can more than put their large bulk to good use to defend themselves and make the most of their lives in the frigid peaks they call home.
Perhaps not surprisingly, the blubber that coats the bodies of these creatures gives them access to thick fat as a base ability, and the capacity to make good use of their size to batter others down immensely in rare cases can give them access to sheer force as a hidden ability. However, it is also noted that while Cetoddle are able to use their somewhat smaller frames to hide in snowy conditions and thus can have Snow Cloak as a base ability, Cetitan more or less prefer to use excessive snowfall and hail to lubricate their limbs and allow them to move their bulk around more quickly, instead having access to Slush Rush as a base ability.
As far as the stats are concerned in the case of Cetitan, these beasts are not all that powerful and lack much in the way of defense and mobility, but are still able to hit fairly hard and have an immense amount of stamina to work with, their base HP and attack stats being above average for a fully evolved Ice-type Pokemon, further possessing the highest base HP stat out of all Ice-type Pokemon, so they can at least last a while in battle before getting knocked out. While Cetoddle might seem rather imposing because of their large size even as juveniles, in truth they are known to be extremely passive and friendly towards others as a natural feature of their curious minds. These beasts enjoy exploring new lands and locations within their territory as long as the temperature remains low, and while this can make them easy prey on paper, they often don't have to worry about this as they have few to no natural predators, or at the very least those that do prey on them are scarce in number at best. This allows them to be a bit more lackadaisical in their approach to others, but this is not to say that they won't take precautions if they are needed. Cetoddle will often travel in pods of 5 or 6 members in order to increase their chances to survive in the wild, and tend to stay close together if they can, not budging from their company unless they need to send a scout ahead to explore a territory they think is at least fairly safe for such a journey. As a whole, these younglings are very docile and easy to get along with and can make for great companions in the native environment, but caution should still be recommended if they are in the presence of an adult Cetitan, as they will defend the younger pre-evolutions viciously if the need arises.
While Cetoddle normally cannot evolve until they reach a fairly high age in the wild, they can evolve instantly if they are exposed to the radiant energy of an ice stone, in turn facilitating their evolution into Cetitan.
These massive brutes might not learn any new moves of any sort in evolving, but they are also still able to learn all the moves that their pre-evolved form can, and in turn are quite useful for just about anyone after evolution. These beasts, much like their pre-evolved form, are protected from extreme cold by a thick layer of fat on their bodies right beneath their skin, and can thus survive both on land and in frigid waters, which they often share with Avalugg, so they can handle the cold no matter how frigid it might otherwise get. In fact, these creatures, while still surviving by devouring ice and snow and filtering out life forms and minerals for sustenance, have the power to focus frigid energy into the horns on their upper jaw and head, and use it to chill the structures to cryogenic temperatures, and turn flash freezing the surroundings when they are at full power. While this might not do much to help them in terms of special power, as the base special attack stat is fairly low, they can use it to help increase the power of the physical attacks, as the beasts have impressive musculature to them that can help them deliver brutal physical attacks when called for. This as a whole renders these monsters a suitable threat to encounter in just about any situation, and not something to take for granted, especially if they can make the most of attacks like Avalanche and Ice Spinner to demonstrate their physical prowess.
These soft beasts might not seem all that threatening to most, but I have to respect them at the very least for being able to take a ton of punishment with seemingly little issue on their part. Even as younglings, Cetoddle have plenty of energy to them and can be really easy to raise because of their friendly dispositions. The fact they tend to need an ice stone to evolve might be a bit of a problem for some, but even as they are, they can make for great traveling companions if you don't mind the cold around them too much. Cetitan are massive creatures that can more than use their immense size to bully others around and keep them away from those they care for, and in the wild, that can make them a serious threat to be wary of if you don't want to get in their way. This immense size more than translates to being able to take a ton of punishment, so if you have a choice, don't get on their bad side, or they might just use the Ice Spinner attack among other moves to push you off the sides of their frigid and often mountainous homes.
While they might come off as too wholesome to be of much concern, the members of the Cetoddle family are hefty creatures that can easily throw the weight around in order to deliver brutal blows in frigid fights. You might have to go out of your way in order to acquire a rare ice stone to make the most of them, but it can still be worth it if you need a potent bruiser that can easily take a hefty hit or two before falling.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure you keep them in a cool environment where they can keep themselves stable. Let them get too hot elsewhere and they might just decide to change it by freezing everything around them to make it a more suitable resting spot.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.